All right.
We are live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of 9x90. Today, we have a very special guest with us. One of my really good friends. He's my gym buddy. When I'm speaking on stages at events, if George is in the audience, he is my gym buddy, pre-stage workout buddy. He is not only famous as my favorite gym buddy, he also just finished managing 61 billion AUM for one group, and now he's transitioning to being the CEO for helping a family office to launch 2 new startups. Aside from all of that, he has his own portfolio of companies as well. So today we are going to be talking hospitality, hotels, retail, and energy infrastructure.
Thank you
George.
so much for having me, Eddie. Appreciate it. Really excited for this.
Yeah, me too. And thank you to our sponsor today is National Energy Holding. They don't just engineer, they also procure, construct, own, and operate entire energy infrastructure on buildings, commercial real estate assets across the US. So if you have an industrial, data center, hospitality, anything across those asset classes, retail, they will build energy infrastructure on top of your commercial real estate asset to stabilize your energy costs. So rather than seeing a 30% spike in 5 years, you'll see a steady energy cost increase of just 3% per year.
Which is really fabulous, right? That's going to really stabilize your expense load and have you have a really great insight into managing profitability. So pretty excited to be on the podcast, pretty excited to just chat about all these topics.
So let's dive into that first. You were working on some pretty sexy hotel deals last time we spoke.
That's right. We have a pretty interesting opportunity, I think, over the next 12 months to really build out our pipeline. Right now, we're looking at a property around Joshua Tree, and this is going to be a similar story to every hotel that we look at right now. So 3, 4, 5 years ago, they procured financing, and right now they're having great difficulty refining. And
that's everyone.
Exactly, right? Like cap markets moves in cycles. Few people realize that things are reverting to the mean. And you have these lovely properties in irreplaceable locations that really can't refi. So that's the newest one that hit my desk. It's gorgeous. It looks like an Aman. It isn't an Aman. I'm not at liberty to say which portfolio it's in. Irreplaceable real estate. They need a little bit more robust of a food and beverage program. And we have an opportunity to get in there. The total cap stack was 111 million. We can take control of the entire asset for 12 million. And that's one of 2 that I'm actively pursuing right now. The other one is in Orlando. And that's one where the property was over 200 keys, beautifully located between 2 highways, tremendous parking, ample opportunity for some interesting revenue boosting opportunities there. And sure enough, cap market struck, and we can get that one for pennies on the dollar. I should say we've actually taken control of that one for pennies on the dollar, and we're in the midst of completely redoing it. So it's a fun time to be in the hotel investment game.
So let's go. Everyone has their checklist where, like, when they go into a company, they go into a real estate asset, they're like, these are the first 5 things they change. So like for me, I have a 21-point checklist, organic marketing, that as soon as I get something under my control, be it a company or a real estate asset, I take it through that 21-point checklist so that anyone that Googles it finds exactly what we want them to find. We have cohesive branding, we have cohesive messaging, we have one value proposition. Like we call it dressing the bride, right? Dressing the bride and the customers are the groom. What are a few things that when you come into a hotel distressed asset, you mentioned like food and beverage, their food and beverage offerings are not optimized. What are a few other things that you look at that you're like, oh, these are easy wins? There's energy infrastructure. What else?
So I would say you want to create an ecosystem, right?
Yeah.
And so today, more than any time before, you want to create a brand identity. I think when you and I were little ones and we would go on vacation, we would go into a hotel and there'd be a picture of Bill Marriott on the wall. And
Yeah.
that was it.
Right? Yeah.
Now, luxury is someone has a $3,000 duffel bag, a $100,000 watch, and a $400 T-shirt. So
Yeah,
you need to make sure your property is going to identify with your customer, not the opposite. So, what are some things that identify with the customer? Community is huge. Right now, building communities around brand identities is enormous. Two,
that's true.
health and wellness and a connection to nature, I would say, is 2 and 2A, really 2 and 3. So, health and wellness meaning you have to have more than just forgotten space that you've turned into a gym because you bought a couple of cardio pieces, which makes you and me happy, right? We get better gyms now. But in addition to having a good gym, you really have to have a full, robust wellness program. So, whether that is yoga, whether that's a meditation room, whether that's offering concierge IV services, whether that is having cold plunges, infrared saunas,
Oh yeah.
some form of wellness and longevity. What we're finding is people in their late 30s to early 50s have, the highest disposable income, as is the norm. And what they're really focused on is how can I live longer? How can I look younger? So now you have to tie that back into your F&B programming. It used to be that you really just brought people together via alcohol. Now you need to bring people together through, hey, we have different offerings other than coffee. You can get this ceremonial matcha on site.
Yeah.
The restaurants have farm to table sourcing, and the ingredients have traveled fewer than 100 miles. And you also have the advent of the celebrity chef has gone by the wayside to, hey, now you are the celebrity that we are catering to. So everyone needs to feel a little bit special, and everything needs to pander to someone's lifestyle choices. And the lifestyle choices that we're really focusing on are the health, wellness, community, and longevity. Addition to that, connection to nature. So views of nature, what we call excursions into nature, and really having that concierge on site. So nature and then concierge is another one, where people can have access to the surrounding area. And I think luxury today means high barrier to entry, which means smaller footprint, fewer people have access to your property, fewer people have access to what you're doing, and creating something that's unique in and of itself. When we find all those opportunities and an ability for everything to reinforce a singular message of this is going to appeal to a specific party, then we've hit the opportunity that we need.
And you really hit the nail on the head there. Health is wealth.
Mhm.
I was speaking with a friend who he married into a well-to-do family in the US, but he immigrated here. He's not from the US. And he was aging much more rapidly than everyone around him. And so I kind of we're close enough friends where I could pull him aside and I was like, can I let you know like what a lot of the anti-aging regimens are that everyone else is using? Because clearly like no one pulled you aside to tell you these. And so I was like walking him through some of them and he's like, that's why your mother never had plastic surgery. She looks like she's 50 and she's almost 70. Like, so you do have that where those with more disposable income or those who have a higher discretionary budget, they do invest heavily into wealth because they realize that preventative is much cheaper in the long run than curative.
100%. And I'll give you an example of it. We're even speaking with a clinic that functionally does dialysis on people. And I know that sounds a little scary, but what they really do is they remove the plasma from your blood and the toxins from your blood, and they replace it really with, I always just say saline solution. They look at me like I'm nuts when I say that, but it's the truth. So you keep your white blood cells, you keep your red blood cells, you keep your platelets, and they replace the liquid that carries all the stuff that damages your mitochondria, all the stuff that slows your system, gets rid of the fats, gets rid of the heavy metals, and six
Oh my
treatments
God.
of that is about 50 grand. And I know that's not a small ticket, but if it's
Yeah.
50 grand to stop yourself from spending 300 grand on some form of treatment later in life, I think that's pennies on the dollar.
Oh yeah.
We're starting to see folks like that really pop up. Now, we haven't gone that far because you're now venturing into medical and there's different regulations around that. So, we're going to stick with the IV treatments to help people feel better, offering Z-biotics. So that way, if people do decide to have a glass of wine or two, they don't feel terrible the next day. But I think that is the trend that we're starting to see. And I think that's kind of the next phase of the health and wellness game.
The anti-aging is, that's interesting. I don't know if you remember this when we were in Las Vegas last year. Like half of the audience was people I knew, and they had me on 5 panels. So every time I got off a panel, I had to go into like hostess mode. And by day 3, I completely lost my voice.
Mm-hmm.
I like could not speak. I got off the panel. I went to talk to speak with friends, no voice. And so I was there with one of my friends, and she like grabbed me and she was like, sauna now. And just like anyone that tried to talk to me, she was like, no. And just like we like beelined like right for the wellness area of the hotel. She was like, she can't speak anymore, guys, like enough. So yeah, it is one of those things where we are looking, like if you're in high performance mode when you're traveling, which let's be honest, everyone in private equity, we only want to go to Singapore once a month or once a year. So when we're in Singapore, we're probably doing like a 18 to 20 hour day. The only way to do those 18 to 20 hour days while jet lagged 4 or 5 days straight is to like immediately go to the wellness clinic in the hotel, be revived, go back to your meetings. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, look, we have the regimen down pat, right? Cold plunge, infrared sauna, hyperbaric chamber. Maybe because I like to treat myself, hop into a whirlpool or hop into a jacuzzi, get my workout, repeat, and then that 2 hours of, I always say it's selfishness, really pays dividends and makes it so you can work for the next 18, because you've now just jump started your system, and taking it to the next level with an IV or taking it to the next level with peptides. And that's a completely different discussion, really does make the difference between looking and feeling like you just are on death's doorstep to being able to get these fun deals done.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I actually, I don't view it as selfishness. I view it as the toll I have to pay to keep my career accelerating at the rate that it is. Like I'll come out of meetings, my brain is on fire. Do I want to take an ice bath for 10 minutes at 55 degrees? No. But do I need to be mentally sharp for 3 more hours of meetings? Yes. So I'm going to jump in that and then get back in the office. Like people are like, how did your brain just go? Like, well, I went downstairs, I did like 20 reps of 3 different exercises, got blood in the brain, or I went downstairs, infrared mat, it went downstairs, ice bath, like all of those things. I just try to put like one here, one there, 10 minutes throughout the 10-minute breaks throughout the day. Instead of taking 10 minutes to scroll Instagram, it's 10 minutes to ice bath, 10 minutes infrared, 10 minutes quick workout. All of that keeps your body in like performance mode.
Exactly. And that's who we try to cater to, whether you're on vacation or whether it's something in the middle of a downtown. Those are offerings that are necessary because you're either recovering from the work or you're trying to get back into the work. So those are all things that are really important. And I think one of the other things that you and I have both realized is, in as fast a paced society as we have today, even stopping to get gas is an inconvenience. And that's where the EV infrastructure has become really interesting to me, because it decreases turnaround time for people who are going to and from the airport, because now your cab, we're old school, so I'll still say my cab instead of something else, is able to charge while it waits for you. Or if you're getting a rental car, it's charging while it's parked. And you're basically giving yourself 0 downtime away from the things that you want to do. And I think that's also a part of luxury today, where it becomes, how do I make sure that there are no boring moments in your day?
Yeah, or dead moments that are wasted. So touching on EVs, let's just talk about that for a little bit. How have you seen having electric vehicle chargers on site at hotels? How have you seen that impact revenue?
So what's great is it's created convenience for people. And so what that's really done is it creates a better customer experience. And that's what leads to those downstream effects of positive reviews of the site. Because
Yeah,
remember when we used to go to a hotel, if you wanted to check out, you had to check out at the desk.
yeah,
Now
I
you
know.
just check out at the hotel. And it
Yeah,
became, okay, you walk out of the hotel and you wait for a car. Then it was you walk out of the hotel and you wait for your Uber or Lyft or whatever app. Now it's, oh, those cars are there because that's where they charge. And those 5 or 10 minutes at a clip that you're buying people back make it so that you're actually avoiding complaints about the hotel. And I think the game is kind of turned on its head a little bit, where you've gone from how do we get people to speak positively to how do we avoid the negative pushback. And so that's where we've really seen something great is that there are always going to be people on site who are ready to take the people who have heads in beds at the property somewhere where they want to go, whether it be to the airport, whether it be to a local attraction. You're creating that convenience factor for them. And convenience is really a modern day luxury. And so that's where I've seen it really have a positive impact is that there are no negative comments. Now, where I think there's a really interesting impact is on retail properties. With retail properties, you're
yeah,
seeing a demand driver. So rather than just having the billboard on the side of the highway or the impulse purchase store at the front of the center, you're also starting to see that people are looking for a place to charge, and you can place these things strategically throughout the center where you're going to get impulse buys for the 10, 15, 30 minutes that someone's charging the car. And the
yeah,
concept is the same, right? How do I place this in a place where there is zero downtime for the user? And how do I fill that time slot where someone can do something other than scroll on Instagram?
yeah, yeah. I just did a road trip. I did a 2-week road trip earlier this summer with the children. We went all the way up the East Coast to like New York City area and then back south to Florida. And we started with 95 and then we did the 75 corridor on the way back. So
Mm-hmm.
we got to see all the EV options. And it was really interesting because like some of the options for us to charge the car were okay, we're going to this tourist attraction, we're going to this children's museum for like 4 or 5 hours because it's a slow charger.
Mm-hmm.
Or we're going to Wawa, and by the time I get out from them eating, it'll have charged like 30% or things like that. But it was very interesting to see how you notice um, all of the, sorry, there's someone looking in the window.
No, no worries. That's a little disturbing.
Oh, yeah, it's happening more and more often after the book and speaking to her. Yeah, I had someone like pull up a van a couple weeks ago to the street behind our house, and they were like looking through the window with their camera phone. I was like, you gotta be joking.
Oh,
Um,
geez.
yeah, okay, sorry. So what were we talking about? Oh, it was really interesting. So all of the retail locations that were like you saw like stable traffic, they
Mhm.
had like 20 different chargers. They were like, we are going to capture you here to make sure that our tenants revenue spikes because you're stuck here. And then we're going to be able to charge them more as the landlord because their revenue went up. Um, yeah, it's really interesting to see that evolution, how that's the trickle down effect of you're no longer out at a gas station. Now you're charging your car and shopping and running errands.
Exactly. The push for digitization of the automobile and going away from an ICE to an electric drivetrain is going to be a complete boon. And
Yeah.
I think a resurgence of physical shopping habits
Oh yeah.
because, right, like you're
Yeah.
going to need something to do while the car charges. Even if you have a hypersonic speed charger that gets your car charged in 10 minutes, even if it's at 5% battery, guess what? That 10 turns into 30 because that person's going to go into a store and
Yep.
look at something. There's going to be an impulse buy.
Yep.
So I think that they are the best pull onto a center. And then when you couple it with, hey, shopping centers have pretty ample roof space, I couldn't think of anything better for solar. So
Oh,
you have an
yeah.
opportunity to decrease your operating costs and even actually have it be a revenue driver for you because you can sell energy back to the grid. The greenification or the digitization, I think, of the shopping center is a really interesting play in today's environment.
It is interesting. I think not a lot of people realized how easily accessible energy infrastructure is and is
Mm.
becoming, where you now have options where, yes, you can pay to have it all put on your location, but let's be real. If you're an investor-backed private equity fund, you get your initial investment, you're going to deploy that. You don't want to, in year 3, go to investors and say, hey, can we have money to add this now pre-exit? So you have companies like National Energy Holding where they come in and they say, hey, we're going to pay for this to be done and we're going to own and operate. It's going to increase your net asset value. It's going to stabilize your costs, but you don't have to pay for anything. Or if you want to, we can do an 80-20 revenue share where you just take 20% of the cost of the project, you put that down, and then you get 20% revenue share.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And it creates a really interesting business model. And one of the things I'm excited for is I think over the past decade, last mile logistics has been the darling of the real estate industry.
Oh my God.
And I
Yes.
cannot wait for the digitization of the fleet because I think that being able to electrify those last mile logistics sites is going to be really interesting because obviously with retail and hospitality, there's a human element there. So there needs to be a beautification. And that's one of those big concerns. Whereas if somebody is driving to and fro to drop off or deliver packages for someone that's going to another endpoint, they don't much care about the aesthetic. So you can really maximize coverage with your digital infrastructure, which I think is going to be a really interesting phase. I'm hoping that one of these eccentric titans of our day decides that his next passion project is going to be creating electric trucks. I know everyone's looking at the retail market, but please, somebody go to the industrial market so we can take advantage of this.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm going to be the eccentric one who puts energy infrastructure on all these buildings.
Exactly.
What energy shortage? What oil crisis?
Oh, yeah. I'm a firm believer in being a pragmatist. And, when I watched Avengers, I said, look, they kind of changed the antagonist here from someone who is looking for attention from a scorned lover to an environmentalist. Why doesn't he just double resources? And so I feel like we have that opportunity. It's like, oh, there's an energy crisis. Let's just build more energy.
I know. That was interesting when I was on the panel. I was on the panel at this event in London in March, and I got off stage. Actually, people asked me while I was on stage. They said, "What are the family offices and real estate titans doing to address the energy and water crisis?" And it was like, oh boy. I thought I was here to talk about real estate. And so then I went back to family dinner conversations and conversations with my grandfather over banana bread, and it was like, okay. So what I remember my grandparents always saying is that if you build a city and no one wants to live in it, it's worthless, it's useless. So obviously you always want to take care of the people, and energy and water, they're not things we can just be blind to. If you're a real estate investor who likes to be one of those investors who says, yes, I take care of my tenants, they get the luxury treatment when they're in my, like you were saying, in your hotel, they know they're going to get a luxury treatment. When they're in a city where I'm trying to be active, they know that they're not going to have we're going to do our best to take care of them. It's like, okay, I have to figure out this energy thing. So that's where I was like, what can we do? And it's wild how many opportunities there are out there that people just aren't aware of, where they can literally turn their building into energy infrastructure.
Oh yeah. And I think that seeing the phase one and phase two adoption of green energy, and whether it was lead standard, whether it was ESG, I think
Yeah.
that's left a bad taste in people's mouths. And they haven't thought about this from really the lens of, hey, this is an economic boon. This is a way that I can actually create ancillary income streams on my property. And I think that energy in today's day and age is going to be akin to advertising 100 years ago, when people realized they could put billboards on their property or they could put radio towers on their property,
Oh yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
that was an aha moment. I think today you're going to very quickly see people are going to say, wait a minute, my box is able to get me an opportunity to supply people with the one thing that's in scarcity today, which is energy. Because intelligence is now becoming something where it's quite common between AI development and AI rollout. You're no longer at a premium if you're someone who is tremendously educated, because we all have this wonderful thing on our phone that's better educated. So education has lost its premium. Connectivity is
Push
really
back
what it,
on
mm,
I would push back on that because education is the difference between knowing whether or not what Google search just showed you is accurate.
completely fair. And I think there's a change in education. Rather than relying on you or me to tell someone something from a book that we read one day, you're now relying on someone to be able to fact check the digital employees' results from a book that it read. Um, so I think everything's become more accessible. And what you're seeing is, hey, what's scarce here? What's really needed to keep things going? Well, with people, it's food, water, and sleep. With a digital employee, it's energy. And if I can be the farm that supplies the food, water, and sleep for the digital employee, then I'm the one who makes sure that the workforce never goes away.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. I was looking at it purely from you're looking at it from a preservation the of our rapid development in the tech space.
Hmm.
Like, how do we protect our ability to keep iterating and driving tech innovation forward? We need energy infrastructure. And I was looking at it purely from like a real estate space of, hey, we can make so much more money if we had EV chargers, solar panel, battery, and when we need to, gas and wind turbine.
Yeah, I mean, for me, right? Like, think of it this way: if you want to double your population in 5 years, boy, are a lot of people spending a lot of time in bed. If you want to double your workforce in 5 years, well, all you need is someone to create agents for you. So the TAM is now infinite if you realize that your audience is digital. And digital audiences need bandwidth, they need compute, and they need energy. So if I can find ancillary ways of deploying those things throughout properties, there's no stopping it, because in addition to catering to or pandering to a human audience, I'm now catering to a digital audience.
That's true. That's true. Have you seen what Gemini and ChatGPT bring up when you search your name?
I have seen it on Perplexity. I need to look at Gemini and Chat. It's funny. Someone very recently was trying to slander me, and he's like, this guy, he's trying to get his hooks into you and take over things for you, and he doesn't even have a background in this. And I just said, look, today's day and age, you can put my name into any AI, and you're going to see what my background is. And in front of the folks at the table, I just put my name into Perplexity and just said, all right, let's see what it comes up with. If there's anything that remotely mirrors what you're saying about me, I won't pursue this deal anymore. And it was great because it was quite contradictory to what he was saying. So
Yeah,
it led to a great laugh and the deal progressing, which was a lot of fun.
I had this one girl who's like was like, please just pick a passion or a career and do something. But she became obsessed with trying to ruin me because it wasn't fair that people trusted me after I built an energy or built in a software company, built a media company, and wrote a best-selling book. She thought that she should have the same people trusting her after she did none of those things. And it was like, one, trust takes time, and trust is based on track record. So if you're jealous of the people who like the trust circle I have, go do those things. Go build an international software company. Go build an international media company. Go write a 450-page best-selling book. You'll get the same thing. No. She wanted to instead try to like take me down. And I was like, good luck. Like you can't take down someone who climbed Everest. Like you're going to have to climb up to where they are to drag them down. So Gemini went from telling people about all my financial accomplishments to saying she allegedly did these things. And I was just like, how many hours did she have to spend obsessively talking to Gemini to get it to like remove the AUM that I had at my past fund? It was like, whatever. It's
Oh goodness.
so that is a good reminder though, is like you have to remember that you're catering not just to people. Now you also are catering to and putting content out for the AI bots to crawl and then to analyze and to put into their databases.
That's right. It's a significantly larger market, and it's one that is always active. So
Yeah.
if you're not tailoring your message to a digital audience, then you're really being left behind. And I would actually go as far as to say the more important audience is the digital one, because in order for the physical audience to even get access to you, you have to get through the digital gatekeeper.
Yeah.
And it's a wild way of thinking about life. And I think circling back to what we started our conversation with, it's why in the hospitality space, I think there's such a premium for a lack of blue light and a real focus on connectivity, because everything in the world is digital right now. And hospitality is really becoming more of that connection to the physical and getting people away from the blue screens that we're all absorbed with all day.
Yeah. In our house, we only let the children have so much access to the television.
Smart.
Because you can see it. They like their neural networks just aren't built for it. They become impatient, they're screaming, they're throwing fits. Our 4-year-old stops speaking. If he watches TV for more than an hour, he digresses to communicating like a 1-year-old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So what kind of EV do you have?
Oh, wow. So I'm the worst, because I think that cars should represent freedom and EVs represent control. I like having control. I don't like being controlled. So I'm going to bite the bullet, and I'm going to get myself a Tesla Model Y L, which is the replacement to the X,
Okay.
because a good friend of mine has the newest version of the Model Y, and the self-drive and the new suspension are really tremendous. But for me, that's why I like the prospect of an EV. I have a built-in driver, and that's great. Otherwise, I like my gas guzzlers. I like my Mercedes G-Wagon. I like my Lamborghini Urus. There's a certain irony to it. I like fast SUVs, if you can even call them that.
Yeah.
But eventually Tesla as well. How about you? What are you working with?
So I had the Lexus GX, that Lexus SUV. What was it? GX 460, 640. I don't remember. I mix up those numbers all the time. And then my husband wanted an electric vehicle, and I was like, okay, great. Teslas are cheap. Like they're like a candy bar. Go buy one. He's like, no, I want the one that's double the price of that Tesla. And I was like, what are you getting? He got the Kia EV9, and it was like, you realize like Kia is such a cheap brand name. So like you paid Chanel prices, and you got something from Target. Like, why did you do that?
You've approached this backwards. Why have you here?
It was like, okay, you're not allowed to buy cars without me anymore.
I was just talking with a friend of mine. She's switching from a Porsche Macan internal combustion engine to the Porsche Cayenne full electric, and
Love the Porsche Cayenne. I love that car.
gorgeous car.
Yeah.
And boy, is the electric one a rocket.
Yeah.
But of course, it didn't solve the one thing she was trying to solve for, which is, oh, she's exhausted going to and from Greenwich, Connecticut to downtown Manhattan, and wants a car that can just take her there. And I said, you do recognize that there's one car that can do that for you, and it's a Tesla. And she's like, yeah, I just can't do it.
No, so the Kia EV9 drives itself.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Yeah, so it has a button that I press for. So this is what I learned on the road trip. There's a button I press for it to drive. There's a button I press for the cruise control. And then it has a button for me to choose the distance between me and the car in front of me.
Oh, nice.
So cruise control is like automatic, and then if I choose like 4 car lengths or 2 car lengths, then it chooses how close it is to the car in front of me. So it'll like automatically change the speed based on the car in front of me. And then the other thing it has is a massage chair.
That's incredible. That's my wagon. The chair is a massage chair, and it doesn't get better.
I know. Like, why would I sit in a chair driving a car when I could sit in a massage chair driving a car?
You know what? I think that we should have a conversation with Elon and explain to him, look, there are certain pleasantries in life that we should have. And if you're going to have a car that drives itself, it should also do other things for you.
Add it to the list of things to propose when we meet him.
All right, you got it.
One of his higher level employees is actually in the secret vault.
Oh, get out of here.
Yeah.
Oh, that is awesome.
So we should choose wisely what we say when we're joking about it.
Oh, hey, I'm being sincere. I hope he gets that clip. I want to say, look, like, I'm confident you enjoy massages. Your car drives itself. You should add massages to your chairs.
Yeah. Watch it comes out like next year.
You're welcome, America.
I know. Okay. Well, do you have anything else you wanted to address? Or we're getting close to the end of the podcast episode.
No, I think you know what? Tell me about the next conference I'm going to see you at, where we can get a workout together. Because the next podcast, it's going to be in the gym.
Probably. Okay, so I'm speaking in the Hamptons the end of this month, and then I'll be in New York City. I was asked to speak at a New York Fashion Week event. I'm not sure if I'll be up north for that, because I have to be north for 10 days straight for the UN General Assembly and Climate Week.
Okay.
And then I only get 2 days at home to change my luggage. And then I go to Greenwich Economic Forum, straight from Greenwich Economic Forum to Singapore. Straight from Singapore, I come home, I swap my suitcase, and then I have to go to Miami. And then straight from Miami, I have to go to France.
That is a wonderful travel schedule.
It is hell.
Absolute hell.
Oh, fun. It'll be fun. Okay, cool. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in today. Thank you, George, for joining this episode, and I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will see you online next time.
Thanks so much for having me. Looking forward to seeing you.